Elon Musk has found himself embroiled in a simmering controversy over on his X platform with his call to bring in more people with what he calls talent. At the same time, many American citizens complain that he and those like him are just dumping low-wage migrants into the employment pool where many cannot find work in their own fields. And to add insult to injury, Trump agrees with him. While not unrelated, the country is now adding $1 trillion worth of debt to its total balance every 100 days. And because of this and the fact that household debt too is at record levels, many people believe that America is headed toward becoming a failed state. And not only that it already is a failed experiment. And publications like The Atlantic, Al Jazeera, and of course, the Sunday Guardian agree with them. When using the common metrics that political scientists use to determine the signs of a failing state, the U.S. taps many of those boxes. Poverty is accelerating, civil discourse is breaking down, social cohesion has evaporated, and institutional backsliding is clear. And Americans are living shorter lives. Living shorter lives. This is where I think the left and the right can finally agree in 2025. Nowhere so as in the aftermath of the recent assassination of the United Healthcare CEO. Well, of course, this was a heinous act upon the individual. The act was not arbitrary and was completely political, and thus the repercussions of which are rippling through society and a wider debate, not on the brutal act itself, but on what the American health industry represents. And in the aftermath of the event, there have been innumerable memes. And there was a recent one that I saw on 4chan, among many, about what is called the American derangement syndrome, and it lists the usual state failures of the United States as a nation. What is included was something that, in not so many words, sums up exactly the motive of this assassination. America has terrible healthcare, and it will kill you. More to the point, the assassin explained that the United States has the most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet ranks 42nd in life expectancy, and called the U.S. healthcare system a scam. And this is where the left and right meet, because the U.S. healthcare system has been monopolized, and its mission for decades has been to keep you sick for life. Even Chris Rock, recently on Saturday Night Live, joked of the shooting that sometimes even drug dealers get shot. And this is why I've spoken about NMN on this channel many times, as Big Pharma has for years attempted to classify it as a drug, and not for safety reasons, mind you, but to control it. NMN has been proven in studies conducted by Harvard University, among others, to help reduce weight, lower cholesterol, and blood pressure. And I, as a personal user, can vouch for its effectiveness. Now listen, I know this stuff isn't cheap, but your health is the most precious thing that you have. Thus, it's a great time to stock up. So, help support this channel by supporting my sponsor, which is a great company, and try Black Forest's NMN with its amazing buy two, get one free New Year's holiday offer. Hurry and take advantage of this amazing 48-hour promo and support me along with this amazing brand. The link is in the description where you can find more information, and I urge you to check it out and grab some for yourself. Now, speaking of health and those that supposedly are working to help Americans keep it, many point out that it wasn't the so-called pandemic of the last few years that has ushered in the end of the current incarnation of America, but it only revealed the cracks already there that will, in turn, fundamentally transform the nation. With the extreme polarization politically in the country, again with the exception of the U.S. healthcare industry, which everyone can agree on, virtually all institutions, including the mainstream media, big tech, Hollywood, and academia, are thoroughly out of touch. Points of example, even the money printing machine that was Star Wars recently canceled its newest and wokest iteration, while as far as I can tell, nobody is even watching the most expensive TV show ever made, that being the new Lord of the Rings. Now, with that said, I would argue that America is not a failed state or even one that is beginning to fail, but it is transforming and remaking itself. But I didn't say for the better, for most. And crucially, the country, for now, remains a semi-functional republic. It's important to understand that the current class structure and the cherished so-called middle class that Americans cling to was an historic aberration to a unique set of circumstances in the aftermath of the Second World War. However, given the ingrained notions of what Americans should expect or do expect vis-a-vis its class structure and ways of living, well, they are rapidly evaporating in a world under the current set of circumstances, and Americans will, like it or not, be forced to change. As globalization advances and with outsourcing and mass, unrelenting, unending in-migration into the United States, and with the exception perhaps of those in the top 10%, everyone is moving toward a global economic income equilibrium. Thanks very much, globalism. Appreciate that. So then, America has long been a nation of change, and I would argue that technology, culture, and geography will combine in this third decade of the 21st century to be that engine of change. Governments, for their part, are supposed to exist to, among other things, secure the safety of their citizens' person and property. But in America and in other countries, well-heeled people, along with their businesses, are already leaving cities in states like New York and California, and they're leaving in droves. What you'll see in the next several years are the increasing exodus from large blue cities by entrepreneurs and the swelling number of those who are able to work remotely for the simple reason that their governments, that being blue states, blue cities, their governments have encouraged, applauded, and have fostered an atmosphere of lawlessness that will inevitably destroy them. Those people will be flowing into small and medium-sized towns that politically will offer stability, rule of law, and personal safety. These towns over time will prosper, and communities of like-minded people will form as large cities see their tax base dry up, their services crumble, and their streets become ever more dysfunctional. To put it simply, America is not a failed state, nor is it failing. It's changing. Like the rise of suburbia in the 1950s, the renaissance of the large American city that began in the 1990s, we're now witnessing a new change in how Americans orient themselves. Two models are now competing for America's productive class. While both will continue to exist, of course, the future of the large American city is without question one of decline, while rural and small to medium-sized towns will witness a rebirth. And yes, I will be honest, the problems, social, political, and economic, are titanic in scope. America, despite what the American derangement syndromers would have you believe, is not a failed state but a fluid one, and one that is currently undergoing a massive reorientation. Yes, but it will come out the other side radically transformed, but most likely, in my opinion, more similar to a previous version of itself, as the current sense of general prosperity for all evaporates. If you want an example that you can find in the cinema, think Elysium mixed with the Minority Report and The Running Man, at least in the cities. Actually, I might even make a video on that. Could be interesting. More importantly, for you, the listener, it's time to join a community of like-minded people, even if that means you need to relocate. So that's it. That's the end. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up on the way out. Also, check to see that you're still subscribed, as YouTube has unsubscribed tens of thousands of people without their knowledge or consent, as I tell you in every single video. Also, please check out my sponsor, Black Forest, and their amazing health supplements. It helps the channel, and it will help you too. Link to them is in the description. So again, thanks, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.